Short man in a suit, wandering cow, I am the Wiz? Wait, isn't this a drama? That's right, I am watching La Haine, the 1995 crime thriller from France, directed by Mathieu Kassovitz. I didn't hear about this film in 95. 95 was when I started getting really into films, but I didn't hear about this film until I would say much, much later. And I gotta say, there's one film that this film reminds me a lot of, and I will get to that as the review goes on. The first thing I have to talk about with La Haine is that it feels strangely American despite it being set in Paris. A lot of the buildings, a lot of the places that are in the movie really feel like an American city, and that was a very strange feeling when I was watching this movie. Specifically in the slums and in the projects area. You know what it actually reminded me of? I just came up with it right off my head right now. It reminded me of certain scenes in The Wire, the HBO series from long ago, which is the best TV series of all time. That's right, I will die on that hill. And it really had that feel of being in a living space that feels very real. And it's probably set in the slums of Paris too, so that's probably why it feels that way. The thing that you will notice as the film goes on, there's just a constant feel of tension, like something's gonna happen, something's gonna pop, something is just gonna go wrong, and you're waiting and waiting and waiting for it, whether it is something between the three friends that will split them apart, or that one of them will go crazy and kill somebody. There's just this feeling of palpable tension going on throughout the entire film. But what is also strange is that there's some levity by some oddly comedic scenes in this movie, and strangely enough, they are effective. They're not like laugh out loud funny, but they give enough of a chuckle where you're like, haha, okay, that's pretty funny. Like, it really lightens the mood a little bit. Not a lot, but a little bit. And I really liked how the film took that risk to make it a little bit lighter in certain scenes and give the film a little bit of a flavor. I think the lighter scenes in the film, it could be a joke, or it could be just some breakdancing, or some scenes of a DJ doing his job. There are scenes that just fit really well that give the film a specific vibe, but still really works to keep the tension high, but also not drown you in that tension. And I thought it was very effective that way. After the film was done, there was one film I kept thinking about that La Haine directly reminds me of, and that is Spike Lee's masterpiece, Do the Right Thing. And I think there's a lot in Do the Right Thing and La Haine that really mesh well together as I would say like a double feature. Both are about a society crumbling or changing. Both are dealing with class dynamics. Both are dealing with police brutality. Both are dealing with characters that there is a slight comedic edge, but they are very serious in the way that the film is. The only difference I see with Do the Right Thing and La Haine is Do the Right Thing is in color and is very vibrantly shot in color. The main character of the film is essentially one guy in Do the Right Thing, whereas La Haine is about three guys. And I think the comedy is much more organic in Do the Right Thing than it is La Haine, because La Haine is like, whoa, where did this come from? But in Do the Right Thing, it just feels more organic. But honestly, both are good for what they do, and both I definitely enjoyed. If I'm being completely honest, I would give the slight bump to Do the Right Thing, but as a double feature, I would also watch La Haine with it. Just a great movie. Alright, so I didn't do this in my last review, but before I get to my rating, I just want to note that the letterbox for this movie is 4.5 out of 5. It is number 17 in the top 250 feature films on Letterboxd. Rotten Tomatoes gives it a 96% fresh. The critics loved this film when it came out. They still love it to this day. And it didn't win any Oscars, so we don't have anything there. I am giving this a 4 out of 5. I think this was a really good movie. This could bump up to a 4.5 out of 5 for me at some point. I might watch it again before the year is over. But it is really an effective movie in a lot of ways. I think the film La Haine, which is translated to English to hate, is a pretty apt word because this movie just shows what hate does in all senses and in all situations. And there's a character in this film that definitely says hate just begets more hate, and the film does a really good job of doing that. I think some might find the power in this film a little drained because we are dealing with this still to this day, and it's constant at this point. I think some people, if they watch this today, might not find this as powerful, but I think what is profoundly sad about this movie is that it is timeless. Same thing that happened with Do the Right Thing. I watched Do the Right Thing years ago, and I found it strangely precedent and strangely timeless for the themes that it was going by. And I think that's the most depressing thing about this movie is that it's timeless. It still deals with things that we deal with today. And for the most part, I think we will probably always deal with in some form. It might be lesser at some point, it might be worse than others, but I think that's what this film really shows, is that once hate seeps in, it festers, goes all over the place, and it even makes good people with good intentions do terrible things. That is it for my review. Talk to you guys later. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, please like it. If you didn't, please subscribe. And if you have questions or comments, go ahead and leave a comment whether you liked it or not. It just helps, you know. If you want my written reviews, you can go onto my letterbox at IamThatWiz, or you can go to my website at IamTheWiz.com. Thank you very much again for watching. See you next time.